Yes, hello, so this is my first build video where you're getting a voiceover. I said for a while that I would like to do a voiceover for a build video, but if there's any problems with the voiceover, please bear with me. This is the first time I'm doing something like this. But anyway, a little bit of what the build is, because it's a brand new build that I have recently been using. Which is a bit different from what I usually build, which is tankier. Now this is kind of just as tanky, but you must be able to keep wards up all the time. If you struggle with keeping wards up, this build will not be as tanky as what my previous build was, which is using Trials. Trials is a little bit more beginner friendly, but this build will perform better if you can keep wards up. Now let's get into the build. Ancient Grace, pretty obvious choice. It gives 3.5k max mag. It's too good not to use. Absorb Magicka enchantment on the front bar. Does damage and gives sustain, which you need on a max orc that does not use Darkdale, simply because wards cost a fortune. Same thing with the back bar, however I am using defending instead of sharpened. Mighty Tudor, Max Orc really struggles with bar space, and what I found is if you use, where is it, Lightning Form, it costs 2.4k mag. If you have Tudor on, you don't need to cast it, which saves sustain. Plus, it gives armor and max health, which is always good. And it's a very easy monster set to obtain. It's literally the best monster set for a max orc that I've used, ever. Obviously that's light armor. And then one heavy piece reinforced on the chest because it gives the maximum amount of armor. Trainee, self-explanatory, 1.5k mag, very good. Mighty Tudor, again, this is in medium armor, so you've got 5 light, 1 heavy, 1 medium. Yeah, Mighty Tudor there. Crafty Elfique, again, I'm a very traditionalist when it comes to Magicka Sorcerer, and I've always tried to keep it viable. The true way of playing it with big wards. So obviously Crafty Elfique, it complements Ancient Grace very well. I do like having at least one well fitted on the build, because if you're in a tower and you don't have decent stamp sustain, with all the immobilizations and stuns that going about in PvP now, you will just run out of stamina and you'll just die basically. So them are the traits for the body. Max mag on the jewellery with Magicka recovery and Death Dealer's feet. This mythic can be a pain to get, but it is without a doubt the best mythic for a max orc that is playing the traditional way. Even for the new styles of builds that's coming out with hybridization, it's still literally best in slot for the class. I can't recommend Death Dealers enough, and one Magicka recovery fused for Ancient Grace. Pretty standard build for a max orc, but it's been tried and tested by me and it works very well. Now for the skills. Bound Aegis. This recently got a buff, and if you read it, it says it gives you 8% extra max mag, which complements Ancient Grace, Death Dealers and Crafty Elfique. It gives 8% more max mag. And it gives you minor protection and it gives you minor resolve. It was such a good change for me because I've always used roughly the same bar setup for all the years, and that change kind of made it a lot more viable to go back to a very, very traditional style Magicka. So if you want to use this build, Bound Aegis probably is the best skill. Crystal Frags, self-explanatory. Hardened Ward. The tooltip that you see here is not what you get in PvP. I'm in PvE Overland now, so obviously this tooltip will go down by 50% in PvP. Crush and Shock. Force Pulse, do not use. That's for PvE only. Crush and Shock is so good in a 1vx or 2vx situation where you've killed a player and they are trying, and other players are trying to revive other players. This just stops that completely if you're quick enough. Endless Fury. This can be changed if you want it to be changed. The reason that I never change it is because my rotation is so... my muscle memory on my rotation, I can't really change it, to be fair. My muscle memory is too far in depth to be able to change this, but you can change it too. Obviously, I don't have it morphed, but you can have this in replace of it. Now, if I go back, Ice Comet, you can actually change this to Atro. I'm not a big fan of Atro, but it is viable, and you can use Overload instead. I don't really like Overload simply because the way that I play Magicka, I'd be too tempted to use Overload just to try and finish off a player. Now, there's been so many situations where I've wanted to cast Restore Ult when I've been using Overload, but since I've been too tempted to use Overload, I don't have enough ult to use Restore Ult, and it's got us killed. So I like to be a little bit more safe in using Ice Comet. Plus, Night Blades that use stealth, like this, is very good for getting them out of it. Now on the back bar, Curse, self-explanatory. Every Magicka uses this. Dampen Magic, changed from Harness. Dampen literally just increases the size of the ward, and if you're using high max mag, this complements it very well. Also ignore the tooltip, this is in PvE. Degen, far too good of a skill not to use. It's cheap, it's easy to obtain, and it gives damage. Self-explanatory. Streak, one of the best skills in the game, period. This, if this skill was to be nerfed, I think Magicka would be in a lot of trouble. This skill has saved me and my teammates so many times, especially the stun on it, absolutely fantastic. Healing Ward, this can be changed to where is it? Dark Exchange, but again, I like to be very, very traditional with my Magicka, so I keep Healing Ward on. And obviously, Restore Ult, far too good to give up. A lot of people use the Psijic ult, which is also good, but since I like to play with players in a 2vx situation, I try and have this available for them if they're under a lot of pressure. Now, obviously, make sure you have all your passives. And I am a Breton. So now if I go to the unbuffed stats, these are the stats unbuffed, which is pretty good. All points into Max Magicka. Smoke Bear Haunch, like I said before, if you don't have good stam recovery in a tower or in confined spaces on a Magicka, you will die. you will die. You don't have enough stamp sustain to get out of immobilizations and stuns. After all, wards cost a fortune. You need high sustain on this build. In Vamp Stage 3, literally far too good. I know that people have been calling for nerfs for this, but I don't think it should be nerfed. I think there's other areas of the game which need to be looked at rather than Vampire, like high HP. It's such a problem in PvP. And yeah, so that's the build. I will say these stats here are not true if you are full CP. Like for Pen, for example, I don't have the passives for Pen yet. I will go through the CP. I have got Ironclad. It's too good not to take off. If Magicka was a bit more tankier, I would probably take this off, especially with how big the wards are on this class. And on the build, I'd probably take this off for more damage. Max Mag, literally can't go wrong. 2 damage CP, Master at Arms, Deadly Aim. They are really good damage. And obviously make sure that you get all the passives in the blue tree. For the red CP, obviously make sure you get all the passives. Again, I am only 900 CP, I do not have all the passives. Paint Refuge, far too good for PvP. Do not take this off, it's too good. Relentlessness. This is so good and it's overlooked. If you're on a Magicka and you don't have your shields up for whatever reason, you've been stunned and your shields are not up, this gives you a little bit more breathing room so that you can get out of a stun and cast a ward and try and get out with it. It's so good. Shield Master reduces the cost of damage shield stage by 2%. This is really good, but the cost of wards is absolutely ridiculous. This needs a buff. This absolutely needs a buff. It should be at least 20%. Wards cost so much and I don't know why. And obviously Bastion, it increases the size of your ward. Self-explanatory. I will say that although that this is extremely good, you can actually swap it out for Fortified, but I wouldn't, personally I wouldn't do that, but if you wanted to you could. You also could put Boundless Vitality on, because if you're stunned and there's no ward up, it gives you an extra 1.4k health to survive with. I will say that this again is not very beginner friendly, because it completely relies in terms of survivability on wards being up all the time. It's difficult, which is why you don't really see many Magicka playing this way anymore. They've went for a more really high max mag, high HP, sorry, build, because wards, they've been nerfed so much over the years, and I can see why, because back in the days pre-Merkmeyer, they were egregious to play against. Like literally, if you kept your wards up, you weren't dying at all. There's no way you were dying, the wards were that big, and now I understand why Zenimax nerfed them, but they've been nerfed too hard. Way too hard. Which is why, to this day, it's very difficult to play this type of style of Magicka. But in the future, I will release a build that is very, very more beginner friendly. The old build that I had, which is viable still, by the way, the trial build, That is a lot more beginner friendly because you've got a lot more resistances, and if wards don't cast or if they go down, you've got a lot of resistances to survive. With this you don't. Yes, you've got more HP, but the amount of resistances that you get with trials, it's way more survivable. But if you have any questions about the build, please do not hesitate to message me in-game or on the comment section. So that is the build, the updated build that I have been using recently, and I will show some gameplay with it like once I've released this build. So yeah, this is the Magicka build for update 40. Doing voice commentary to show you the build. The build very slightly different. I'm using Ghastly Eyeball and Harness to increase the sustain, and I put more spell damage on. That is literally the only difference with this build. Yes, it hits harder, but the survivability is it's not as good. But that's the only difference. You'll see that there is players coming over to the resource that me and Gareth took over. I saw this guy, he had low HP and he was low CP, so immediately just get rid of him. Also, the brightness on here, I do apologise, I had HDR and the brightness was up to its max. That is now being rectified. I'm no longer using HDR. So yeah, just get rid of that guy. He was very squishy, low CP. I see Garrus getting under pressure, so I'm spamming Halo mode on him and straight through the enemy. And this person here was separated from the healers, so Garrus knew to focus him. And more players are showing up, so we have to get away from them. This guy, I have no idea why you would single yourself out and not be with your teammates, considering the healers, and he suffered the consequences for that. Just having a quick look of the surroundings. This person also running away from his teammates. He almost died, but obviously Chokethorn was there to save him. Garrus is under a little bit of pressure. As you saw there, I body blocked him, so any projectiles or abilities went on me instead of him. As you can see, they're respawning from the keep, coming back. So me and Garrus move further back to reassess the situation, get us out of pressure. They did exactly what we wanted them to do. Come back and be tunnel visioned and not focus us, so we can kill one of them off. Again, you can tell immediately that the person here is not very experienced in PvP, regardless of the rank that he's got. He was focusing the NPCs when he should really be trying to attack us to keep us under pressure, because now we're full HP, we've got all our resources, and he's tunnel visioned into fighting the NPCs, which gives us time. And he's separated from his teammates, so it gives us time to get rid of him. Or at least attempt to. I think we kill him, yeah. And he did the wrong thing, running away from his teammates. No, don't do that. As you can tell, you can immediately tell who to focus, because if you see players that aren't really clumped up together and they're over here somewhere, you can try and take them out. As you can tell, they've got a lot of healing with 2 choke thorns. Wasn't enough though. Garrus has an insane amount of damage. Unfortunately, they got the res there. Straight through them so that Garrus could get away. Focused Bellamy again because we know he's really squishy. I saw Garrus's health drop a little bit, so I'll go over and try and help him. I prevented the res there. I know from past experience that this guy's very squishy, but he's close to his teammates, his healers, so I don't focus him. They've put up siege here, so what we try and do is we try and get rid of that as soon as possible because siege hits really hard. Again, this player here is very squishy and he is putting himself in a dangerous position by not being next to his teammates. Again, I try and have a look to see where Garrus is. He's okay. They've captured this resource now, so there's going to be a little bit more pressure on us, so this is why we move towards the tower if we need to go inside. Plus, just quickly going behind a wall or an object, you don't have to stop there, it'll relieve pressure from you. I'm just rotating my wards right now because obviously there's a lot of damage coming in. Garrus can see that that guy's nearly dead. He was trying to focus him. As you can see, I lagged a little bit there. I couldn't cast my ward, so my health went down. I put a mark on this guy because I felt as if he was providing the most healing. And whilst I was pressuring him, and he was tunnel visioned on me, he wasn't healing his teammate. That's how Garrus got the kill there. Unfortunately, they rezzed him, but as you'll see at the end of the video, all of them end up dying. So, but low HP, quickly just go behind that wall and run round. That's all you need. Again, saw the snipe coming in, so I roll dodged. Garrus has nearly got that guy who I put a target on. If we get rid of him, you'll immediately see everyone will die because he's the healer. I started lagging there. Popped the resto, I think. Yeah, just to relieve the pressure a bit. But now Garrus knows that this guy is capable of dying. So me and him are now going to focus him because I've got a target on him. What a fantastic streak by Garrus. So well done with that, mate. And you'll see now these players that don't have a healer, they're just going to drop. Yeah, just obliterated, absolutely obliterated. And then obviously this guy's now going to fall. Ignore the NPCs, just get rid of the players. And well done, Garrus, for that 2vx that we got. You'll see that we kind of know which targets to focus. Targets who have high HP and are healers, unless they are not so great at doing their role, you try and get rid of them first. Like if they're a healer. Or if there's a target that has low HP and is low CP and you can just immediately burst them and the healer has no time to keep them alive, then get rid of them. You wouldn't really start fighting or trying to get rid of a target that's going to take forever to die. You get rid of everyone else that you can kill first, and then if they're the last person, you focus them down. And you'll have seen that through the clip there. But there's many more clips that I can voice over if you wanted us to do that. It'd probably be a bit better in a 1vx situation, because I will be able to tell you more in depth as to why I'm doing what I'm doing. Like, you have to be hyper focused in a 1vx situation. You don't have any type of breathing room to kill a target or cast a heal. There's less time to do things, and you need to stun at the right time and do certain things. So I might do a commentary over a 1vx in the future. But that was an example of a 2vx that me and my friend Gareth from Xbox did. And if you like it, I'll do more in the future.